hotel room at Platinum Edge.
It was
over by the window. Kira took pictures. I took pictures.
It was the lighting. I love it. Okay, so welcome to the Faithfully Fit call. Hopefully, for those that can't make it, this is going to be a good recording, so we can go over a couple of things. I'm so excited to introduce Pam, which I'll get to in a minute, who's going to be leading our call tonight after we get through a couple of announcements. So I'm going to hold off on talking anymore about how awesome I think Pam is. I posted this picture in our Poach page today. Not sure if you saw it. This is something that someone like Heidi knows very well. Anyone who is trying especially to get to a star diamond level, or anyone who is a diamond coach that's trying to help their personally sponsored coach hold a star diamond level. This is something to definitely keep in mind. Wednesday, it says Wednesday night on this image. I actually start checking on Tuesday. Like Tuesday morning, it's my jam. I get in there. I will look Sunday, usually Sunday night before bed, I'll look and just see, like, is anybody inactive that's not supposed to? And then I'll look again on Tuesday, and that's when I really start to kind of put everything together. But I look and see who's either going to be inactive or active. Is it a surprise? Is it a system error, right? Because sometimes there's system errors. I've had people that are like, yeah, I don't know where my Shakeology is. And like the HD order has been messed up, and that's what has caused it. So you just want to be really proactive, because when I was trying to qualify for one of my star diamonds, I can't remember, I was hit smack dab in the face on a Thursday morning, and I was like, what? And it just happened to me again. When I was in California, I opened up my back office and it said Tracy Baldrich Diamond Coach. And I was like, well, something's wrong with the system. And like 8 hours later, it still said Diamond Coach. And the next day it still said Diamond Coach. And I lost my 5-star rank for the week because I overlooked volume. Because when you're 2-star diamond and above, you need to be at 200 PV. So, that's actually for 1 star and above. You have to be at 200 PV. So we're not going to talk about PV, but I was like 10 PV short and I lost the ranking, which again is no big deal at this point of the quarter. But for star diamond coaches, 2-star and above, when you are trying to hold rank to get your bonus, you have to hold a 2-star rank or a 5-star rank for 6 consecutive weeks in the quarter in order to get your bonus. So if that would have happened to me in the middle of like the last 6 weeks of the quarter, when sometimes you are holding it the last 6 weeks of the quarter, it can cost you a significant amount. So get in the habit now as a diamond coach or 1-star diamond coach. And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, because it all matters, but if it's not going to financially impact you, it's a good time in this phase, if you're a diamond coach or a 1-star diamond coach, to get in the habit of practicing. Because I promise, when you have business centers that are, one is trying to be 2-star qualifying, your own is trying to be 5-star, your spouse's is trying to be 2-star, good problems to have, but it's a lot to take care of and to maintain. So you want to create good habits about that. Any questions there?
Yes. Is there a way? I got jacked this week by one of my I'm no longer a diamond.
But nobody knew. So that's what I always tell people when they get upset. I'm like, no one knows. No one knows. It's okay.
Well, is it I know, but I just but there's not a way to check your coach's people, is there?
Well, sure. I mean, in sponsorship drill down, you can.
You can see, but can you see their orders, like if they're off track and ready to?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
So I was looking at one of my personally sponsored coaches, and her emerald coach is not looking so good for tomorrow, which is going to change her rank, right? So I could go down and look and see what exactly has happened, because I could click on the link of the people who are in her spouse's network, and I can see when is the last time they had Shakeology. I'm not that person's personally sponsored coach, so I don't have access to phone number or addresses or anything like that, but I can see orders.
Yeah.
You can see, I think 5 levels down.
And you can see their, I think, if I remember right, you can see their business fees too, because I had an emerald coach who lost her rank. So I lost my diamond for like 1 week, and because of her, and it was her husband. There had been like a credit card change. So I was able to see that it was his Shakeology and his business fees. And so that's how I knew that it was probably a credit card. And I let her know. She checked it. It was all fixed. And in a week it was back. But yeah, I was able to see. But it's in the sponsorship drill down section.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm just going to add this on. Like this is opportunity to build like community with your team. So when I was a 3-star diamond at the beginning of this year and I was going for a 5-star, the 2 people that were going to help me move to 5-star, I told them both, like, look, here are my goals. Here are the team's goals. Here are your goals. Let's have a call and figure out how we can make this work together, because I wanted them to feel like part of the community. If you're a diamond coach and you have an emerald that, like, let's say you're a diamond coach and you only have 2 emeralds, right? Or you haven't built extra emeralds yet. And the last 6 weeks of the year is crucial if you want to do this diamond retreat, right? So you need to have conversations with your emerald coaches, and of course it has to come from an authentic place, and it would with every person on this team. And it's never like, I need you to hold rank so that I can go to this. It's never that. And I'm not saying anyone on this team would do that, but it does, like, I think some coaches feel like, oh, well, I don't, I feel embarrassed having that kind of conversation. But the two, like I don't have a coach where, like, when my rank goes up, her rank goes up. And I know Pam had said that, because Pam's personally sponsored coach is Stefan. And she's like, I wanted you to get the diamond rank, not Stefan. People want to help their teammates, right? So your emerald coaches, making them feel part of your team and knowing that, like, hey, this is what can happen. I would go to this diamond retreat and I would come back, I'd share this information with you. We'd goal set, we'll get you where you want to be. That gets people excited. And then it's not like a surprise. Like, I've had it happen before where, like, a star diamond has been trying to qualify, and the diamond, if I'm star diamond and one of my diamonds is like, yeah, I'm going to lose the rank this week. Oh, well, I'll get it next week. And the person who's trying to qualify for star diamond is like, but I have to start my 6 weeks over again. Well, the first question I always ask that star diamond is, like, did you have a conversation with your teammates on what that means for you guys as a team? So don't be shy, right? You need to educate your emeralds on how crucial they are to your team. And if they're not in it, then it's your job to come up with, like, a game plan on backfilling that emerald.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm totally bypassing, because both of my emerald coaches are just, they're not in it for any, like, they're just happenstance emeralds.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
that leg broke this week.
Yes. And you know what, Laura, it's totally normal, because, like, I probably had like 8 emeralds before I had, like, a real emerald, which turned out to be Heidi. Right. So you do, like, it takes a while, especially as you learn and figure out who you attract. Like, I was sitting at a neighbor's house thinking, like, she was going to be my next emerald. And she was like, did you think I want a coach? I just want the commission. And I was like, oh, we definitely have a disconnect. But I didn't know really how to qualifier. I was like 2 months into the job, so you learn, you figure it out. Okay. All right. So you guys know all the challenge packs, right? Self-explanatory here. I want to burn through this because I want to get through Pam's stuff. Okay, so the next team power hour is going to be next Wednesday night, since we don't have a night Zoom call. So 11/9 at 9. We won't be talking about the president, because I know that's what everyone is going to be chatting about the next day. We are going to be working. We are all going to be on Zoom, sharing screens, working, making it fun, putting out our invites, and working on getting to Success Club 5, at least by the 15th of the month. So
Tracy, did you have one today?
no one showed, but I had one. Yeah.
Oh man, I totally missed that. Okay.
But you know what? I didn't do a very good job, like, reminding everybody. I put the post up at a weird time. I don't think a ton of people saw it, and it was on my list to keep bumping it, and just Halloween, new challenge groups finishing, it just didn't make priority. So we're going to go for next Wednesday night.
Do you think my class would notice?
What's that?
I said, do you think my class would notice? I was like, children, go read your books. I've got so much to do.
So funny. So funny. Yeah, all you would need, obviously, is, like, access to your streak and, like, your list, right? The list that you work off of. Okay, so Super Saturday, The next Super Saturday, Laura went to a Super Saturday. A couple of us in Connecticut went to a Super Saturday. And mark your calendars because the next Super Saturday is January 7th, that weekend. That's going to be a huge one, you guys. So mark it in your calendar. Put a reminder December 1st in your calendar to start inviting people to the Super Saturday. I think we loved our Super Saturday we loved our Super Saturday experience together, but I think Pam would probably agree with me. Like the speakers were awesome, but I think like our clientele would probably fit better into like the Connecticut Super Saturdays than like the New Jersey, New York. Like we were with New Jersey, New York, Brooklyn, so fun, such passionate people. But I think the people that our teams attract would probably be best trying a Connecticut one. Would you agree, Pam?
I would. I mean, it was all about Joel and Jericho. That was the whole reason for going to that. I mean, nothing else was really on the table because we had that opportunity. But I think I think part of it is key to that is like what is going to be there, because you went to a Connecticut one, Tracy, and you said it was a total bust.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Trumbull one, which is the big one in Connecticut.
Okay, so I think a lot matters, like what's going on. I mean, to have had the chance to see Joel and Jericho was huge.
Awesome. Laura, what were your takeaways?
Well, Allie Upham is always a takeaway, in my opinion. She just sort of re-inspires me about being in it for the right reason.
Yeah.
They announced that they're having a baby, so.
Yeah.
And someone proposed to someone.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like I would imagine that being a more private event, but you go for it. They've met at a Super Saturday. But those aren't valid takeaways. But Joel and Jericho were definitely the highlight. They were so cute. Donald Trump was in town, or no, Obama was in town. So we only got like a 20-minute workout with them, but I'm glad because I probably would have hurt myself because I was so into the workout.
Yeah.
That I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, right, you have a back issue. You shouldn't be picking up almost the person's head in front of you.
Right.
So I enjoyed that. And again, the first time I went and this time again was just reminded that people's hearts really are in this. And it was just a feel good from that perspective.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So get your locations now. They're probably already posted. And invite your challengers, invite potential coaches, invite discount coaches that you think would be great coaches that you haven't even talked to about coaching yet. It's just a really good opportunity. Live events, like that was Megan's first live event. She'd not been to a Platinum Edge. She'd not been to a summit. She'd not been to anything. And when people leave their first live event, you never forget your first live Beachbody event, ever. There's just something magical about them, the way that we're able to kind of pull people together. Okay, so I wanted to recognize two people. So Shauna is a new coach on our team who's hit Success Starters 2 months in a row. What I was most proud about her, so we had Halloween on Monday. So Friday I had a call with her and she was at Success Club 4. And she was like, yeah, I think I'm going to talk to someone at school tomorrow and see if it happens. And I'm like, okay, we need a backup plan. Like if that person at school doesn't happen, like what's your plan? And we talked a lot about inviting on the phone, and inviting, I always have to take myself back to when you're a brand new coach is super, super scary. When you're putting posts up and you might not be getting as much traction, you might be getting a lot of engagement, but people that aren't really like ready to commit. And so she put herself out there and did some inviting, and she pulled it together. And at the end of the weekend came up with Success Club 5, which was amazing. Sorry, Success Club 6, because she sold 3 challenge packs. So I just loved the way that she wouldn't settle for just not hitting it. She's, committed to getting her free ticket to Summit. And I love that about people when they've got that burn. Pam, I had to recognize Pam because Pam is local, and of course, I want everyone on the whole team to be at the Diamonds Retreat, but it's gonna kill me if there's local coaches here that don't qualify for the Diamond Retreat. Like it would literally like break my heart, but I wouldn't be able to make exceptions for locals if I'm not making exceptions for out-of-staters. So I said to Pam, I'm like, listen, I'm happy to do the Zoom call on Wednesday night if you want to focus on your invites. She was at Success Club 2 on Saturday, you guys. And she's like, no, thank you, but I got it. I'm inviting. I've got some calls out. Well, Tuesday morning, I did my miracle morning and I came back, and the first thing I checked on my back office was Pam's Success Club, and it showed Success Club 2. And I was like devastated. I was like so disappointed, so sad about it. And as the morning went on, maybe like 2 hours went by, and I'm like, wait a minute. There is no way that Pam was just going to be like, oh, well, Success Club 2. And before I even contacted her, I'm like, there is no way. She's got too much fight in her story, her life story. She fights. And I came back like late afternoon and I checked the back office, and I guess it had finally updated and it said Success Club 6. And I was like, I was so excited. So she did. She pulled it through on freaking Halloween. Okay. And so it was me the month before at 10:30 at night trying to pull it through. And that is why we're doing a group power hour, because life gets crazy. I get it. But it's so nice to have the Success Club monkey off your back by the 15th of the month, isn't it? So nice to have that done. But Pam, awesome job on pulling it together. So proud of you. So I'm gonna turn it over to Pam. She went through Emerald to Diamond training earlier this year. She hit Diamond the week after Summit. So she's been a Diamond for a couple months now. She's got a great story. She's a fourth grade teacher. So she also is probably going to just rock this presentation based on her skills and what she's good at. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks. I'm much better at talking to fourth graders than I am at talking to grown-ups. Like, I hate open house and everything like that, but I'm fine in the classroom. So just a little bit of my background for those who don't know, because I think it kind of links to the theme of this anyway. I've definitely, well, like everyone else, I've gone through my own, share of whatever. Oh, the screen went away.
I'll bring it back. I just want while you're talking.
Okay. Everyone goes through their stuff. I've been through divorce and miscarriage and stillbirth and, all this, everyone's got their story. But I'm 48 now. So when I started this, I was 46, and hormones, I think, were kicking in. And I had a boyfriend who liked big dinners and was cooking for him. And the weight just kept sneaking up. And I hit a point where literally I was like, it's funny because Andrew remembers it. I was in my closet, like crying, not wanting to go out because nothing fit me. I'm like, who am I? Like, what has happened to me? And that was the turning point for when I started as a challenger. And, like for so many of us, it made all the difference. And when I started coaching, I couldn't even imagine myself as a coach. And Tracy was just kind of like, oh, maybe you should try it, because I had all these people who were asking me about what I was doing. So I started coaching, and in the beginning, it's not easy at any point. There are things about it that are hard no matter where you are with it. When it's new, the posting is so difficult. There's, it's never easy, but getting those points is a lot easier. Kind of feeling that instant gratification, it comes a lot more quickly and easily. I hit 5 my first few months, and then I was hitting 10. And I was never like the 25 person, but I was consistent and I was doing well, and it was great. And then all of a sudden it got so much harder. And I think part of that is the warm market. And I think part of that is so many of us have been having a tougher couple of months, just the time, whatever it is. And that's when it becomes really easy to let life get in the way that much more, and to start making a lot of excuses. And just, running into rocks like the one on the screen. They put up this picture at Platinum Edge, and it stuck with me because that's life. There are so many boulders in the road. But then when I found this other picture of the flower, the plant growing up around the rock, what I really thought about is, I thought, the rock is life. The rock is us. The rock is all of it. but there's a lot to the rock that can help us grow. Soil underneath the rock could be so much richer just because it's sitting there with moisture and everything it needs that makes it so fertile, and we can grow from it. Those are the things that help us to grow and be better. And if we take our challenges and we lean into them instead of pushing away, we can do better. Sheryl Sandberg is the COO of Facebook, and she wrote a book that was called Lean In. Like, I went on and I was just Googling different things, and her book it's more about the corporate world and women in that world. But one of the quotes that was on Amazon about this book, it said, "Lean In is destined to change the conversation from what women can't do to what they can." And I just think that's true of us everywhere. And one of the things she talks about is women face unique challenges that are different from men's, because for us, we are balancing family in a different way than the men are. And that all the issues of our partners and our children, and in a way that, not that men don't worry about it, but I think that they can step away from it a little bit more easily than we can. And it can pull us in to the point that we lose ourselves in it. And I think that's one of the ways that we lose ourselves and that we hold ourselves back, is because we can't, we have trouble doing both. And because we say, oh, life, I can't do this right now. We've all had challengers say that to us. Oh, I can't do this right now. It's too much. Instead of saying, this is the time where I should be taking care of myself, they avoid it. And we do the same thing. The quote at the top. So basically, to me, when I started thinking about what does leaning in mean, the first thing about leaning in is showing up. And you've probably heard the 80% of success is showing up. Woody Allen said that. This first quote was up at Platinum Edge also. Fear is allowed a seat in the car, but it's not allowed to touch the radio, and above all else, it's forbidden to drive. And then Brene Brown, who I love. Sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is show up. You can't do anything if you don't show up. Yeah, that's the first part. So then I thought about, okay, what is that? What does showing up mean? And I think the first thing for me that showing up is right now that I keep thinking about is being a challenger. And I started thinking about, what did I do when I was a new challenger? Not the vital behaviors the same way, because this is not about coaching. This is just about being a challenger. I drank my shakes, I drank my water, I worked out, I ate clean. And I started thinking to say, what's changed? I still do all these things. But then I realized, well, you know what? I wasn't drinking my water as much. I was slipping on that. I wasn't chugging my big glass of lemon water the second I woke up, and I wasn't filling my glass through the day as much. I was shortening my workout. There were always excuses. I was easier on myself with the rigor of all of it. Yes, it's a lifestyle, so we're eating clean, but yes, reality comes in. But I was letting it come in too many times in too many different places. It was just excuses and losing the discipline of it. And it's funny because I've been really focusing on these things, and I've been sore for the first time in ages. I've been actually back to drinking recover because I've been really sore and feeling it. And I've been living in the bathroom. I'm peeing all the time again because I'm drinking more water. But that means I'm doing it. It means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I can feel the difference in my body. I splurged last night. Well, I didn't splurge. It was like total emotional eating, and the kids had pizza and I had pizza. And I felt disgusting afterwards. And I don't think I've been feeling that way as much because I haven't been taking as good care of myself. So I didn't notice the bad stuff as much as I now am. And so I think that the first basic is that. Once you've got that, so then you can move on to the vital behaviors. And it's this part of coaching get away from stop thinking for a little bit about the business side of it and focus on, coaching people. Like, what is it that we do as coaches that changes people's lives? It's, yes, we need to check the back office. Yes, we need to handle the business side of it, but that's not why we're in this. Being a product of the product, where obviously once you've focused on your challenger part, you're good with that. Inviting, reaching out, starting conversations, and personal development. That for me is something that I've really been working on. And I think that that's an easy thing. So many people have said, oh, that's the thing that I don't get around to. And I was definitely that person. I was busy. I mean, 3 kids, full-time teacher, Beachbody. There was always something else for me to do. And I had to schedule it. So what I do now is it's, only 15, 20 minutes, but that's what I do in the car every day on my way to work, is I listen to my personal development, and it adds up, and it's part of starting my day. I'm doing Miracle Morning right now, and I've been posting about it, and I'm even doing a little free group about it, and it's changing things, and it's motivating me, and it's exciting me, and I already can't wait to finish it and get to the next book. And I can't believe I took so long. I mean, I've done personal development along the way, but I can't believe I took so long to figure out how to structure it into my life on a daily basis, with no excuses, and just do it, because it really makes a difference. And it makes it easier to start conversations too, because you have so much more to talk about, because you can talk to people not just about your health and your nutrition, your fitness, but you can talk to them about what you're reading. So the final step in showing up is the sharing piece. Christy, Andringa, I don't know exactly how to say her last name. She put this up at Platinum Edge, and she has a blog that she calls So This Happened Today. And she talks about just the real life stuff, and like all the crap that happens in life. She's like, could you believe it? So then this happened, and then this happened. And you're sitting there listening to her story and going, oh my gosh, are you serious? But we all have all of these, so this happened today. And she uses that. Heidi and I were talking recently, and we were talking about how it's hard when you're in a difficult time going through challenges. You're not sure how to post, because you don't want to sit there and talk nonstop about your challenges, because you just feel like you're, having a pity party and complaining. You don't want to be overly chipper and cheerful if you don't feel that way, because it's not authentic, and you need to be your authentic you. And Christy kind of nailed it, I think. I know me and I like me. I am too important for excuses. I rock resilience. I can because I can. And she puts everything out there with that. So when she tells her stories, it's with this sense of resilience. She's not lying in a puddle on the floor. She may have for a couple moments, and that's okay. But then she stopped, and she pulled herself together, and then she has a story to tell. I think what you have to do is share all of you. You have to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And as long as you share all of that, the cohesive strand is you. You're the secret sauce. You're what pulls it together and keeps it together. And so whether you're posting about your date night and how great it was, or when you dumped your bag of actually, like when I should post about this, when I went to my classroom and I found the bag of Shakeology that I had there with like mouse bites in the bottom of it, and had to throw away the whole entire bag. I know, I was like, are you kidding me? It's almost a full bag of Shakeology. But it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's
use that canister.
I know. I brought a canister to school after that. I was not, we know the critters are there, but that was not the evidence that I wanted to find. but it's sharing all of it. So it's whether, for me, it's whether I'm sharing about my kids or whether I'm sharing about being a teacher and putting up videos about that and finding those areas of expertise, or sharing about nutrition and fitness. I was in line at Walmart getting stuff for Gracie's school project and ran into the father of one of Gracie's friends, and he started asking me all sorts of questions. He's like, so I've been, oh my gosh, your posts are so great. I've been watching. And people are watching. And they take away so much more than we realize. And so if we stop leaning in, if we step away, they notice that too. They notice if we aren't ourselves, if we're not around, if we're, they see it all. So I don't know, those to me are the components of this idea of leaning in. And when I was doing all this, I thought, is this too obvious? Is this what we all know? And I think in a way we do know it, but I think we get away from remembering it. When I realized that, I was going to the bathroom more often, I'm like, I really haven't been drinking my water. I really have let something so simple as that go. And it's just too easy to do it. We get distracted. So that's about it.
Meanwhile, there's some really strong and fit mice running around your school.
Power mice.
And
Sign them up. Sign them
not
up as
sick for the
coaches.
winter season.
I know, if only.
That is too funny. Well, Pam, I thought that was awesome. I wrote down when you were talking about personal development, because gosh, with as many people as we've had this year, I'd have to go through whether it's Rock the Basics training or Emerald to Diamond training. And in each of those trainings, they have to read a book, and I've changed up the book a couple of times, and they love it. Like when they're in the midst of the personal development, they're like, wow, especially the compound effect. They love it. People are loving Miracle Morning. And what happens is when life gets busy, it's the first thing that people chuck off because they're just like, I don't have time for that. It's just books. But when you talked about the fact that you actually do have something to talk to other people about, it goes back to not only does it help you grow as a person, it helps you make less excuses, it helps you get creative with your thinking, be more innovative with your business, but it helps you to help others because you've got more knowledge on different ways that you can help them.
Yeah.
It is. It's so many coaches have said, when they go back to personal development, all the stars align. And I think that as leaders of all of our own teams, all four of us have teams, we've got to make it more of a conversation topic, Yeah,
I think you get away from, it's easy to do it when it's a required assignment.
Yes.
Or, a training.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying to fit in on your own, you keep saying, I'm going to start it next week. I'm going to start it next week. This week's so busy. I'll start it next week. It's just like doing a 3-day refresh. I'll do it next week until you actually do it. And then you're like, why didn't I do this weeks ago? Because this really wasn't that big a deal. And it's just learning. It's habits. It's forming those positive habits and effective habits that change us. And it's to have taken that time. Now that I do this daily, I get in my car and I start driving and I just hit play and I start, I listen. And I always order a copy of the book too, because I have to go back and be able to circle things and highlight. And clearly from my I'm obsessed with quotes. So I love that. Those are things that really resonate with me. So I need to have that, but it's quick and easy to go back once I've listened to it. I did the same thing with things like the compound effect and failing forward and all of it. So I think, but once I scheduled it in, I'm like, well, I don't know why I've been doing this for ages, because this is such an easy time. I'm not missing out on anything. I'm missing out on listening to CBS so that I know the latest about election horribleness. And big deal, I really don't feel like my life is lacking in any way by, it's adding to my life, not taking away from it.
Right. And I had that epiphany about Voxer because I was using my car drives with Voxer. And yes, Voxer is important, but it's not moving my business forward. Right. And so a lot of times you have to think about, you have to re-engineer your days or your weeks. And I look at I am so anal about looking at my business activity tracker. And I'm like, what what am I doing too much of that's not moving my business forward? And I got into the same rut where I was like, I'm listening to some personal development, but it's not enough. It shouldn't be taking me 2.5 months to get through one book, right? I mean, I would love to be reading 12 books a year easily. That's like a tangible goal for me, but I needed more driving time. And I was like, I'm listening to Voxer too much. When I could be doing that when I'm like doing the dishes and kind of have it on in the background when people are talking about which container, is for peanuts versus almonds, you know what I mean? Like on a chain. So you have to also kind of re-engineer your business and figure out how to move your business forward. What activities generate momentum for change?
Yeah.
I listen to Voxer on the way home because there's very often a lot of boxes to catch up on, but I also don't worry as much now.
Right.
If there's 25 boxes and I don't listen to them all, I used to worry so much that I was missing something. And if there's something that important, it's going to come up again and I'm going to know about it. It's, not likely that I'm going to fully miss out on something. It's going to get posted on the Poach page, or it's going to be somewhere else if it's really that significant. And so I've stopped having that anxiety about, oh no, I have to listen to every single word, and because otherwise there might be something out there. So, that also helps.
What's really interesting is in the National Wake Up Calls, they all have the same exact theme every single time, and that is personal development. Like obviously we have all the vital behaviors, but I'm talking about when people get stuck, like when they feel like they're struggling or they feel like they want to quit, or every single time they say that. And so it's really funny because when all else fails, like that's what goes in my head. It's like, oh no, I need to do more personal. Yes, I need to invite more, but sometimes when you're inviting so much and you're getting so many no's, you're like, I'm doing something wrong here. Like something is not right. And so this past month, that is the only way I feel like I got through it, because I knew that I was doing too much of the same things and nothing was changing. And so I stopped and I was like, I'm not going to invite another person until I figure out what I'm doing that's blocking me, or the way I'm coming across, or something's not sticking, or I'm not being myself, or I'm putting too pushy, or something's not right. And so I put it aside and I did the right personal development, which is what was like, that's key for me. Like I can listen to all kinds of podcasts, but if it's not the right one for me, it doesn't sink in. And I listened to the right one for me. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this for the right reason. Like I'm just trying to hit a number, and that's not why I do this. And so I went back to just being a challenger, sharing like my heart, really taking care of people. And then all of a sudden just kind of fell into place, So it's interesting how when all else fails, like every single time it helps so much every single month.
And that's what leaning in is. Instead of stepping away and saying, oh, this isn't working, and just kind of throwing up your hands, you find other ways to go closer instead of, pushing back. Other ways to bring yourself deeper into it. And then it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think also that the challenge you just did, I put this on the Poach page, but I really felt like I didn't realize how stagnant I was in my own workout. And I think it's the same thing with personal development. Like I was willy-nilly like, oh, I'll do this challenge or that challenge. And I did the 3-week yoga one, but that's not really a big commitment. I mean, it was good that I did that, like, so that I did it from start to finish, but starting PIO from start to finish really sort of resuscitated my energy for myself. And I think with personal development, I was just thinking, wow, I'm just sort of nitpicking here and there. Like I need to pick one big thing and figure out a time and do it. And I think a recommitment to that in the same parallel would be good. So thank you for kind of bringing that to mind.
Yeah. And your pictures are amazing. Your abs are like steel. You look awesome. Everybody had really great, every single person had great transformation. And it's like, dude, look what happened in 2 weeks. That was just 2 weeks. And not everyone's eating was like 100%, so crazy. So crazy. I was thinking about this in California. So, Autumn has these 2 new workouts that are coming out to the 21-day fix suite. Dirty Dozen and Core Cardio something or other. they are released on December 1st. So any of your people who have 21-day fix, if they're using Beachbody On Demand, boom, shalaka-laka boom, they've got 2 brand new workouts in the program, and they're hard, right? And so I think I talked about this on a video that I did a couple days ago, but I was doing that workout and I was with Shred Nation. So there's just 5 of us, but like I was in the huddle and I was like in the front, you know, so like they were all behind me, which is good pressure to have. Cause like when you're doing like lunges that are going to burn you out, you don't want to quit like 15 seconds in when you're doing like a minute, you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't pushed myself like that. And I needed the people around me, I feel like, because if you don't have a goal every day, it's hard to push through that hard. And first of all, I couldn't walk for 3 days. Like I pushed so hard in that workout. I was like dripping. I mean, my picture isn't even pretty with Autumn because I'm just so shiny and greasy. But as I was doing that, I was like, this is so good for me right now, because to push that hard through a workout, it reminds you of the mental dedication and strength you need to have to push through trying to get a business off the ground, right? Whether you're like a year into it or year 3 into it or what have you, there's always something, or there's always a creeper in your mind. Like, am I doing this well enough? Am I capable of doing this? Why am I stuck? Is this for me? Should I quit? All of that. And so like that taught me, like the next time I'm in a really bad place, I'm going to go do like Insanity Max and like force myself to do it as hard as I can, because something mentally clicks when you physically attach drive and determination to your goals.
That's so true. Like I just did Insanity Max 30 in June, which was like the toughest month of my entire year with all that was going on. And it brought out so much emotion to me, but it felt incredible. Like I would get done and I'm like, holy cow, like that was like a transformational workout, you know? So I totally agree with
Yes.
I think it definitely feels amazing. And like all these things, I just feel like we have to remember with our people, you know, when they're going through a really hard time. I think sometimes it's so easy as a coach to be like, okay, take a break. You know, it's like, no, like if you're going through a hard time, you should be leaning in, right, Pam? Like more into your workouts, you know, with our challengers, more into your nutrition, like taking better care of yourself, getting more sleep, like taking care of yourself more because you're stressed out, not dropping out of the challenge group for a week because you have, like, as people say, like their dog dies or something, like, you know, like lean into what's going on. Don't just, you know, jump off. So I agree. And I think when we all have those experiences, like I loved watching Laura with her son's surgery.
Yes.
Like she was like, no, I'm continuing to take care of myself. I'm continuing to work out. I made a commitment to myself. It's going to help me get through the day, get through the moment, you know. Like that shows people like, you know, you don't just, life doesn't stop and our bodies don't stop just because something interrupts our day, you know? So anyway, I totally agree. It was a good month. Like it was a good learning. When I say good month, I mean, I feel like I learned more this month about myself, about what I need to do, like what I need to overcome than probably any other month because it was hard. It's like the harder months make it a better learning experience.
You got a little plant behind that boulder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The people who spoke at our Super Saturday, who had been part of the test group for Quarter Force, talked about the idea of finding your core, not just your abs, but finding your true core, like where your strength is. And they said that doing this program, because it was hard and because they had to push themselves, that it helped them in a way that they didn't expect to kind of find that inner strength on a lot of levels. And I just thought that was such a neat thing to think about, that, you know, it is that idea that completing a program it's so much more about just your physical fitness. It's in your health in that sense. It's about your emotional health too. And all of that then links to your business health. It all is so interconnected. And if you feel like I can do this and I can do anything, then you're going to feel that way in every other part of your life too.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Write it all down
Thanks,
so we've
Pam.
got it. You did great, Pam. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Have a good night.